I'll talk about how did we lose the media war to ISIS in the Middle East. How we are always a few steps, if not hundreds, behind ISIS. Before making this presentation, I made it elsewhere in Iraq, and I made a back of an envelope calculation as to how much money we spent in the new Iraq on media, between government money, between NGOs, international money, and between political parties and private businesses. We were somewhere near $10 billion since 2003. The Iraqi national broadcaster, its budget is $100 million a year. And that's just with 5,000 employees. And it's not able to do what ISIS did in a tweet. One tweet from ISIS on the 10th of June 2014 made Baghdad half empty. And another tweet on the 15th of August the same year made Erbil half empty. They just said, we're coming. And all of that media, all of this $10 billion could not stop that. They won the war. How did they do it? In Iraq, social media divided our world into two communities, the under 35s and the over 50s. The under 35s are these guys, and the over 50s, you know who this face is. So let's look at the two communities, the under 35s and the over 50s. Looking at the under 35s, they fight, they kill. They are the ones who fight, kill, rape. They protest, they change governments. This is throughout the Middle East, by the way. They are the ones who use social media, and they rarely see the others' views, because in social media it's very easy to have just this community. We can just talk to each other, and we do not need others. We can, if I see somebody I don't like or I cannot win in an argument with, I just block them. So I stay wherever I am. And they want to change the world. And they live in what I call Facebookistan and Twitteristan. The over 50s, they govern, rule, legislate for the under 30s or the under 35s. They suppress change and try to keep the status quo. And they use traditional media, the kind of media that we still need, but with every day that passes, social media is taking over, at least in the Middle East. And they have an opportunity to see the others through the traditional media, because when you get the front page of any newspaper, you see both sides, or in an article. But in social media, you can customize your RSS feed, and you can only get the news from wherever you want to. So let's look at this world of Facebookistan and Twitteristan. How did they do it? A new world with new rules. This is from this morning. I looked at statistics. These are Facebook statistics. In the Middle East, we have 139 million people on Facebook. These are the countries. I couldn't get Syria or Iran. Facebook doesn't seem to have statistics on them. This is minus Syria and Iran. Of the 139 million, 104 million are under the age of 35. 9.4 million are over the age of 50. So it just says something. 93 million male, 45 million female. This is what the Middle East looks like on social media. Now, a question I always ask my government friends: are you ready for this new world? Or do we know the rules of this world? Let's look at some of them. We are all equal, all of us, from the soldier in Fallujah to the terrorist to the prime minister to the president. We all have a phone, username, and a password. It's very democratic. Nothing can be more democratic than this. If an event happens outside the prime minister's office, if he doesn't tweet it, his guard will, and his guard will become much more important than him. at that moment. Borders are meaningless in this new world. They don't mean anything. What happens in Fallujah affects, radicalizes people in London, in Tunisia, in Libya, everywhere else, in the Gulf. There's a camera everywhere. Today, I think we have nearly 5 billion lenses. 5 billion lenses are developing a nervous system of the planet. And when you develop a nervous system, you need the right brain and the right muscles to respond to whatever the nervous system is picking up. Information is the currency of this new world, this new republic, Facebook stan and Twitter stan. Your importance comes from your information. If you don't say anything, you're nobody. Which information? It has to be accurate, new, and actionable. It could be a question, a tip-off, a comment, a photo, an audio, or a video recording. This is what life was like yesterday. A government, the media, and the people. And it was mostly one-way stream. Information used to be there, and it was given out to people. And all of us had time. You know, we had one bulletin, 6 o'clock news, 8 o'clock news. Today, this is what it's like. I deliberately didn't name them, these wheels. This is the relationship. Each one of them, all of them are interconnected. One of them is the government, the state. One is the people. One is the media. And one is the other state. There's a new relationship. Each one of these can turn the wheel, can turn this engine. The challenge is, who is the information doer? The person or the body who turns the wheel first becomes the information doer. We do information these days. We don't just make them. Is it the state? Is it the media? The people? Or the other state? Let's look at each one of them. The state. Traditionally careful with giving out information. Any state, no matter how open it is. It just is, it can't, no state is forthcoming with information. It is slow, no initiative. It's always on the defense. You always have to go and ask for information most of the time. And it is easily undermined thanks to democracy, freedom of expression, and all of that. The media. Again, traditionally careful not to give out false information. Quick response and wide and professional coverage is very expensive these days. And with every day that passes, with more people on Facebook, the importance of traditional media is going down for the advertisers. People now just advertise through Facebook. I don't need to go through The Economist to pick up the readers of The Economist. I can look at the Facebook readers of The Economist, because if you go to the websites of most news media outlets, you go to the analytics, nearly 70% of the traffic to news comes from social media, to news websites. So really the first port for the average citizen is social media today. The other state, it is aggressive. They have a very clear vision of what they want, where do they want to be. They only give out information that makes it look strong. They have complete monopoly of information. Who has heard of any information out of ISIS territory that is not provided by ISIS? But from Iraq, democratic Iraq, let's say, millions of information are out. To this day, we are trying to find a blogger from Mosul. There may be one or two, and we are not very sure if they are inside or outside Mosul. It's not requested to respond or to reveal information. They reveal information at the place and time and the platform of their choosing. And it is in an aggressive propaganda mode. Everything they put out is not challenged. Nobody can challenge them. We can, from inside, The power of challenging their information comes from challenging it from inside. The people, this is from the front line, the Kurdish front lines with ISIS. They are everywhere, and they all have a broadcast facility, their phones, and they are capable of producing, pumping out information from everywhere all the time, and it costs zero to the recipient. It costs nothing for us to receive and to cover, and they're able to act quickly because there are people everywhere. The challenge is, are we as media and as state able to use them, to utilize this power that the people have in this new world? I'm not sure. So how do we win? Social media. Today, they use it as a weapon, and we really are using it just for entertainment. We need to work on two fronts, our information and their propaganda. How do I become an information doer? My information has to be new, accurate, and useful. Credibility is key, very difficult to build, easy to destroy. One story is enough to destroy you as a source. You do not leave an information vacuum. This is mostly for governments. Be the first to provide the information, even if it is not totally complete. At least say something before you get the whole story, because you will become immediately the source. The person who says it first, even without a proper source, they become the source, and they can get information afterwards. The later you are, the less important you are. If you are transparent, again, as a government, you will always have an answer. And usually, if you are transparent, it's a good answer. You should answer now. The quicker you answer questions or provide information, again, the better you are. That's why we talk to our governments and tell them e-governments is very important, because an investigative journalist into electricity in Baghdad, for example, we still don't know why. What's the problem with electricity? Why can't we have proper electricity in Baghdad? You go to a director general, again, and you are a journalist authorized by the minister. You go to a director general of an area, you ask him, look, how much money did you actually spend in the last quarter? He's unable to answer immediately. He needs, or how much electricity did that district consume in the last 4 months? You need 4 months to get an answer, because of all the paper piles and stacks. Had they automated their system, he would have been able to answer you immediately. Their propaganda, how do you work on it? Their monopoly of information should be broken. Can we do that as people? Can we do that as media? I'm not sure. But maybe as governments, we could do this. And they need to think very hard about that, or work hard. Their narrative should be challenged and undermined in the same space where they operate in. With all their postings, as people, it's very easy. Don't retweet, don't share, don't post, don't comment on their stuff. When you get it, just delete. And what do we do with the generation gap? The under 35s need to be more educated and information savvy, because these days you put anything and they take it as fact. The over 50s, they need to be more social media savvy to know how to operate there. Thank you.